Kind of take us back to the beginning. Where did the idea for Harvest come from? How did that start?
Well, when the Woodlands United Methodist Church began, we were traditional. That's the only kind of worship I knew of.
Clarify what you want. You've got to cultivate ways that what you want, traits, characteristics, qualities that you want to improve, that you want to enhance.
Well, the idea came about at a Minister's Promise Keepers in Atlanta, Georgia. And Dr. Rob looked at us and said, we're going to do a really good contemporary service when we get back home.
I began to realize that the newer churches planted in the Woodlands, they were having contemporary worship, and people seemed to resonate to that. Well, I thought we need to have something along those lines. So we began what was called Saturday Sabbath.
Obviously, I was excited that we were getting serious about this because I loved the music and I loved kind of what was happening out there, but it wasn't until Dr. Rob came in my office one day and said, I got an idea. I think you need to be the preacher for the Harvest.
I thought, I've got the preachers here, and Bob Swan said, I think I've got the music guy.
It worked out, and we hired Chris Tomlin.
And we began.
It was such a wild thought, and it was so out there, and it was risky, and we didn't know what it was going to result in.
I was really nervous, but I'll never forget the first Sunday, the first song. I just knew that we'd made the right decision.
There's so many great things that go on in this church that get people so involved in their prayer life, their studying, their fellowship, and their service together. That's so powerful.
What has that Harvest community been for your family?
The foundation has been the service. It's been the Harvest community. We've got relationships that have been 20, 25 years in the making now that are such close and dear friends. And to think that all came from starting a contemporary worship service is pretty incredible.
And I remember turning it around and everybody had the biggest smile on their face, like, oh, we've been wanting this for so long. This is awesome. So it was from day one. I mean, yeah, there were, we had some loose ends and some things, some little bugs we had to work out. But for the most part, I mean, it kicked off in a pretty amazing way. I mean, it was pretty beautiful.
One of the really exciting things that seemed to be happening very early on was the amount of people that began to flock to the service. And we really didn't know when we started the service at first of how many people would come. Would it be only young families? Would it be a youth group? And what began to happen is that people were coming and we then would have to put out temporary chairs in the back. And then the temporary chairs weren't enough, and then we had to fill the foyer up, and then that wasn't enough, and then the youth had to come forward. And I can remember Sundays where adults would be all the way to the doors in the back, and all of the youth would be sitting on the carpet, and we would start the service with that.
And people that were all there at the beginning who are now here with their grandchildren, and just watching these youth and teenagers who we were blessed to work with from the beginning be so excited about a church service, was really special.
What's a hope for Harvest beyond the next 20?
Well, my hope is that it never loses the feeling.
I hope for the same foundation, the foundation of Jesus, the foundation of calls to worship that impacts people's lives, that meets them where they are, meets needs, because needs met produces results, and people come to know the Lord, and we need the Lord.
I think we need to continue focusing on families, because that's always your future. I think we have done a good job of really expanding our children's ministry and our youth ministry to get them while they're young.
We didn't get stuck in trying to recreate the Harvest the way that it was, but I really feel like we've taken the essence of the Harvest and created a new thing that's just as powerful.
Harvest is the engine of our church now. It is the ground zero in terms of strength and vitality and growth. And so I just am thrilled, and I want to salute Harvest on this birthday and for all that is achieved and all the lives which have been touched through the years.